Mariah Carey, the time has come for you to plead the fifth for the fourth time.
Mariah Carey's story isn't just about fame or fortune. It's the story of a woman who turned pain into poetry, struggle into strength, and a voice into something that could heal the world. Before the glitter, before the sold-out arenas, there was a little girl sitting by a piano, trying to drown out the noise of a world that didn't understand her. Mariah Carey was born on March 27, 1969, in Huntington, New York, the youngest of 3 children in a home where music met turbulence. Her mother, Patricia, was an opera singer and vocal coach. Her father, Alfred Roy, an aeronautical engineer of African-American and Venezuelan descent. From the start, Mariah's world was divided. Her mother's refined world of classical music on one side, her father's structured, disciplined nature on the other. But beneath that contrast lay constant conflict. When her parents' marriage fell apart, Mariah was only 3. She remembered the shouting, the silence that followed, and the small apartments they'd moved through just to get by. Money was tight, hope was tighter, and in a world that often reminded her she was different, a biracial child in a predominantly white neighborhood, Mariah learned the sharp edges of loneliness early. She faced bullying, whispers, and stares that cut deep. But when words hurt too much, music spoke for her. Her mother's piano became her sanctuary, the one place where the world made sense. She would sit for hours, pressing keys that echoed her emotions long before she had the courage to speak them. Singing wasn't just a hobby, it was survival. And deep inside that young girl, a fire began to form. That fire caught the world's attention in 1988, when a young Mariah handed out a demo tape at a party. The tape somehow found its way into the hands of legendary Sony music executive Tommy Mottola. The story goes that he listened to her voice in his car, pulled over and said, "We have to find this girl." And they did. In 1990, Columbia Records released her debut album, Mariah Carey. The world stopped to listen. From the moment she sang Vision of Love, it was clear this wasn't just another pop singer. This was something different, something divine. Her voice stretched 5 octaves, soaring from delicate whispers to notes that felt almost supernatural. That first album sold over 15 million copies and earned her 2 Grammys. Overnight, the girl who had once felt invisible became one of the most powerful voices on earth. But behind the applause, Mariah was still learning to navigate a world that demanded perfection while she was still trying to heal. The 1990s became her era, a whirlwind of fame, exhaustion, and artistry that would shape modern pop forever. Her follow-up album, Emotions, in 1991, proved her range wasn't just vocal, it was emotional. She could make you dance, cry, and believe all in one song. Then came Music Box in 1993, a masterpiece that became one of the best-selling albums of all time. Songs like Hero turned into anthems of hope for millions who saw their own pain reflected in her strength. And just when the world thought she couldn't go higher, she gave them All I Want for Christmas, Is You in 1994, a song born from pure joy that became an eternal classic. But what the public couldn't see was how heavy that crown was. At the center of her empire was Tommy Mottola. Now, not just her label head, but her husband. To outsiders, they looked like a power couple. Behind the scenes, it was a gilded cage. Tommy's control extended beyond her music, into her image, her choices, even her freedom. Mariah was living in luxury, but felt trapped inside her own success. In 1998, she made one of the bravest decisions of her life. She walked away from the mansion, the marriage, and the machine that had built her. It was the rebirth of an artist, and the beginning of a woman reclaiming her power. Through the years that followed, Mariah's journey became a reflection of both triumph and fragility. She would rise, fall, and rise again with a grace that few could match. In 2001, behind the glamour, she was quietly battling something she didn't yet understand. A storm within her mind. The sleepless nights, the highs of intense creativity, the crushing lows of exhaustion. She didn't know it then, but it was bipolar II disorder. She hid it for years, afraid of what the world might say. Fame can magnify every crack, and vulnerability can feel like weakness. But when she finally shared her diagnosis publicly in 2018, it changed everything. Mariah Carey, the global superstar, revealed her truth, and in doing so, gave millions permission to face theirs. Her courage shattered stigma and reminded the world that strength isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about showing up, scars and all. Love would come again, this time in the form of laughter and family. In 2008, Mariah married actor and entertainer Nick Cannon. Their love brought light back into her life. But it wasn't without pain. They faced a miscarriage, then the anxiety of a high-risk pregnancy. And in 2011, when she gave birth to twins, Monroe and Moroccan, she called it her greatest miracle. Her family became her anchor. Even after her marriage to Nick ended in 2016, Mariah's focus never wavered. She poured herself into motherhood, ensuring her children knew love, security, and joy. Things she had longed for in her own childhood. She once said, "Everything I do now is for them. They are my reason." In 2024, life tested her once again in a way words can barely capture. Within the same weekend, Mariah lost both her mother, Patricia, and her sister. The grief was unimaginable, the silence unbearable. For a woman whose voice had carried her through every heartbreak, this loss took even that away, at least for a while. But when she finally sat down at her piano, the same one that had once comforted a lonely little girl, she began to play, softly, slowly. Each note became a goodbye, each melody a memory. And from that pain came music once again. Now, at 56, Mariah Carey stands not just as one of the best-selling artists in history, but as one of the most enduring souls in music. With over 200 million records sold, 5 Grammys, and a net worth exceeding $350 million, she has nothing left to prove. Yet she continues to create, to evolve, and to remind the world that success without soul is meaningless. Her songs, Hero, Butterfly, We Belong Together, remain timeless, not because of charts or awards, but because they tell the truth. They speak of heartbreak and healing, of falling apart and finding your way back again. Through every reinvention, every heartbreak, every comeback, Mariah Carey has shown us that the voice of an artist is not just in her throat, it's in her heart. Today, her life is quieter. She focuses on balance, on raising Monroe and Moroccan, on health, mindfulness, and gratitude. She embraces the stillness she once ran from. She says she's learned to love her imperfections, to see beauty in her own reflection. Lines, scars, and all. And maybe that's her greatest masterpiece, because Mariah Carey's legacy isn't just the records she broke or the songs she wrote. It's her ability to take the hardest parts of life and turn them into something beautiful. She taught the world that it's okay to be vulnerable, to be human, to fall, as long as you rise again with your own melody intact. Mariah Carey's life is more than a story of success. It's a symphony of survival. Every note she's ever sung carries the echo of a girl who refused to give up, who found light in darkness and taught the world that even in heartbreak, the human spirit can still find its song. And so she sings, still, not just for herself, but for anyone who's ever felt broken, unseen, or unloved. Because if Mariah Carey's story proves anything, it's that no matter how fierce the storm, the song of the soul can never be silenced. Never be silenced.